Was news that sent shockwaves across Quebec's political class. Independent MNA Sylvie died yesterday in a Quebec City hospital. She was just 51 years old. She had an acute hepatitis, but only those closest to her knew that her health was failing. Maya Johnson reports.
The Quebec flag has been lowered at the National Assembly as tributes to Sylvie Roy continue to pour in from across the political spectrum.
She was a pretty well-respected member of parliament. She was straight-talking. She was a fighter and pretty popular in her constituency.
Roy became an independent MNA for the riding of Arthabaska after splitting with the CAQ last year. Her political career began with the ADQ in 2003 under Mario Dumont.
From the very beginning, I always had a lot of admiration for her. She was a person of infinite determination, whether it was to win locally in her riding, whether it was to push on issues, on things that were important to her. She would never give up, never.
Bon, enfin, 948 jours après que j'ai demandé cette commission d'enquête-là.
Roy is credited with helping trigger the launch of the Charbonneau Commission. She was the first MNA to call for a public inquiry into allegations of corruption and collusion in the construction industry. A statement from Roy's riding office says she's been hospitalized for weeks. The initial reason, serious discomfort. As time passed, her health condition deteriorated. She died Sunday afternoon in hospital, surrounded by loved ones. The news came as a total shock to those outside of her inner circle.
A person, 50-year-old, goes to the hospital. First reaction is they'll treat her and she'll be okay. And my understanding is that in the last few days, things worsened badly. And that I wasn't aware of.
Meanwhile, CAQ leader François Legault issued a statement saying, "I am in shock. For me and the entire CAQ family, it's a total surprise." And this from the Premier. For more than a decade, Madame Roy was able to represent her fellow citizens with heart and with passion. A devastating loss for her family and for those who spent years working with her at the National Assembly. Maya Johnson, CTV News,
We also
Quebec City.
heard about politicians of all stripes from across the province who were gathered in Trois-Rivières today for the funeral of one of their own. Sylvie Roy, the independent MNA who died unexpectedly last week of acute hepatitis, was laid to rest today. But she was also remembered for her tireless determination and the dedication to the people she represented. Maya Johnson reports.
A final farewell to Sylvie Roy. Many here still shocked by her death.
We're so, flabbergasted to see her passing away at 51.
First elected as an MNA in 2003, Roy was re-elected 4 times, most recently representing the riding of Arthabaska.
I think one of the reasons why she was so good at the National Assembly is because she was speaking with her heart, and there were no doubt for anyone that she was speaking truly.
She has a good political instinct, but political instinct is not a gift. You work for that. You feel the people. How you can feel the people? You can feel the people because you are close to them. And Sylvie was very close to them.
In her career, she sat as an MNA for the ADQ, the CAQ, and finally as an independent after splitting with François Legault's party. Legault says there were things he never had a chance to say.
Of course, when somebody leaves at 51 years old, you say, I must have had many things to tell her.
Roy was a mother of 2, and her former colleagues call this a family tragedy.
It's terrible for the 2 children, and we think about them. And it's a kind of lesson for us. We see that life is very fragile.
She has a mother also who is losing her daughter. In the normal course of life, parents should not bury their children.
As for Roy's political legacy, she's credited with being the first MNA to push for a public inquiry to shed light on corruption in the construction industry.
She has waged a tough fight. She was very tenacious, obviously, in this question of the public inquiry, the Commission Charbonneau.
A fighter who believed in integrity and was appreciated even by those who didn't know her personally.
Je souhaite que tous les députés s'en inspirent. C'est de gens comme elle qu'on a besoin.
I hope all MNAs are inspired by her, she says. We need more people like her. Maya Johnson, CTV News, Trois-Rivières.